We are live and recording, yes.
All right, let's go.
Good stuff.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, so I've mentioned the hosts. What we'll do for the next 10 minutes is talk about how to add a data source to Snapshot. And of course, then we'll look at creating a dashboard. We'll also stop and pause for any chat questions, and you're welcome to ask those, or you can send us afterwards. Now, of course, you got here today because you know a little bit about Snapshot. Dean, you may want to show the screen on the webinars. We show this to see if you've got to see Snapshot.Live in action, or you've maybe attended the up and running webinar, and today is the intermediate dashboard creation. Or you've ignored all of that and you've simply got on your own path. You've downloaded Snapshot, and now we are progressing to the intermediate. You do need to have an understanding of SQL, although not completely necessary. In some of our partners, for example, they get SQL help from a consultant next to them, for example. So without further ado, welcome Dean Gornall, take us through, and thank you so much for your time.
Cool, thank you, Pete. So just again to confirm, you can hear me loud and clear?
Perfect, thank you.
And you can see my screen, great. All right, everyone, so I think what we're going to do, the first step here is to have a look at how to add a data source. Because without a data source, you will not be able to create a dashboard or view any data. So what is a data source? Well, a data source is the connection into one of your business systems. So if you're running, for example, Sage Evolution, link into your Sage Evolution database. If it's a Vision.net, link into a Vision.net database or an ABM database. Whatever business system you're dealing with, it's how we are going to connect into that database. So if you've obviously been playing around with our portal before, or you've attended any of the other trainings, you will already have access to a portal. Now, inside of the Plus.Live portal, under the administration menu, there is a data connector tab. Now, over here, if you do not have a data connector yet, this is where you'll come and click to download the data connector. So download a file and you'll install it locally. I would suggest trying to install it on the same computer where your SQL server is, or your SQL instance. It just will make life a little bit easier to connect. Now, once you've done that, I'm opening up my connector. You will see over here, it'll open up the Plus.Live connector settings. Now, we suggest per PC, per install of the data connector, we only have one. Don't install it multiple times. And on this little button over here, which says connect to your portal, only do that once. So if you have multiple users, or if you are consultants and you have one portal, but you want to add your own connections, don't come through on the same machine and connect to multiple portals through here. This will create a few issues for you. But what you can do is, through the same connector, you can add multiple connections to multiple different databases and multiple different business systems. So over here, you can see I've already got one connector. But what I'm going to do today is show you how to create a second connector to another database. And what we're going to do is we're going to dashboard off that database. So I come through and I click Add Software Connector. I click Next. I give it a name. So I'm going to call it Webinar Demo. And then we say what type is it. So this is the business system you're going to choose. So I'm going to choose over here my Sage 200 Evolution. And then this is the portal that you want to connect it to. So I'm going to click to select my Plus Software Demo portal. I click Next. I now come and authenticate to my SQL Server and instance. Over here. And I select the database I want to link it to. Select my database. I also link it to my common database. And I click Finish. And you can see over here now, I've set up a connector called Webinar Demo, which is now connected into my Evolution database. So from here, if I now come through into my data connectors and I click through on my Sage Evolution, you can see straight away it has picked up my webinar demo, and this is now connected into that Evolution database. It's as simple as that to go through and set up a connector and connecting into a database. And remember, like I said, you can have as many as you want. You can connect into as many companies. It can be different systems. So it's a way to aggregate all that data into a dashboard. If I come back through here in the portal and I click on my apps and I come through to Snapshot, that's going to launch Snapshot. We'll see again that when I click on my data connectors and I come through to my Sage 200, I now have, there's my webinar demo connector, which will enable me to create a dashboard from that. So if I come back, that probably covers off the adding of any data sources. So I'm just having a quick look at the poll to see if any questions have come through.
I don't see any, Dean. So
yep.
Any of the attendees, if you have any questions, you can pop them through at the end as well. Or if there's any right now, I'll give you another 5 seconds. Otherwise, we can progress. No, looking all good, Dean. You carry on.
Great. Okay, so what I'm going to go on to now is how to create a custom dashboard from scratch. So obviously when you want to do a custom dashboard, you kind of need a specification or an idea of what it is that you want to create. So for me, what I'm going to do in this demo, I'm going to say, all right, I want to create a dashboard based on all my sales invoices that came out of the order entry module within the system. So what you would need to do first, before you even come through into Snapshot, the first thing you're going to really do is you're going to develop your SQL query, which is the logic to get you the data you need. So what I would do is use your tool of choice. Most people would use Microsoft Studio. And what you'll do is you'll come through here, Management Studio, sorry, and select your database, and then you will come through and create your query. You'll proof your query to make sure that it is correct. And once you're happy with your query, then we'll copy and paste that into the Snapshot. So what I'll do now is once I've got my query ready, I'm going to come through into Snapshot. I'm going to come through to my custom dashboards. And in my custom dashboards, I'm going to hit Add Dashboard. Over here, we're going to give our dashboard a name. Okay, we give the dashboard a description, and you can link it to a category. Now, the other thing we have over here is a cache time and an auto refresh time. The cache time is the amount of time that Snapshot will store the information that when you run the dashboard and you run it for a specific date range, as an example, it will store that information for this period of time. So in this case, 5 minutes, and then it will release that information or delete the data. And then the auto refresh that is how often, if you've got the dashboard up and running, it will automatically refresh in that time frame. So it makes sense to make your auto refresh period a little bit longer than your cached period. Because if your auto refreshing time is less than your cache period, it's going to refresh based on the same data. So as an example, you can make that every 7 minutes if, for example, your cache period is every 5 minutes. Now, this is whether the dashboard will be active or not. Now, on any of your screens, sorry, you will not see this is community. I'm the only one who's got this at the moment because I can create community dashboards. I come through. I can create parameters that I'm going to use inside that dashboard. So I know straight off I'm going to create 2 parameters, which is to run it for a date range. So I can limit the amount of data that comes through. So I click Add Parameter. This is the display name, is the name that you'll see when running the dashboard. So I'm going to just put in here from date. This name over here is the name that will be applied as basically a parameter or the variable to the query. It cannot have any spaces inside of it. Over here, I'll put in a date, and then over here, for example, you can put in a default date range. We add another parameter to go by to date. A date field. Now this date that I'm typing in over here, this is just like a default value. So I'm hard coding a default value in. We have also got these other options you can see when you hover the mouse. It's got at symbols, so you can go at current month end date, at prior month end date. These will then automatically default when running the dashboard to that date. Okay, now I have my two parameters set up. I'm going to come through to my data source tab. And this is now where we're going to add a data source, and we're going to tell Snapshot which connection we're going to use for which database are we going to want to be dashboarding off. So I give my connection a name. So I'm going to support sales. And this is because you can have multiple connections into one dashboard. So you might show sales data, you might want to show purchasing data, you might want to show job costing data or CRM data. So that's why we give it a name. So when we're inside the dashboard, we know where the source is coming from. So over here, I'm using my data connector, and now I'll have a list of all my different connections that I have. And you can see over here is that webinar demo one I created earlier. So I click on that. And this is now where you'll copy and paste your query in. So if I come back to my studio manager here, and I copy and paste this over here. So you won't create your query in here. The best idea is to obviously create it in Studio Manager, proof it, run it, make sure it runs okay. And you can see over here where I put my date parameters. This is where you put those date parameters in without the spaces, and you add the @ symbol in front of any of the parameters that you put in. Now I hit save, and I hit create dashboard. So right now, as you see over here, it's put in my default date range, which I must have put in wrong, and hit edit dashboard. So now we have a clean blank slate. So from now here, we can start to create our dashboard. So again, remember I said in the beginning, you should have quite a clear picture of what it is that you want to create. I want to create a sales dashboard. So for me, one of the go-tos is to show sales over a period of time. And one of the ways I really like to show that is by using a graph. So on the left-hand side over here, we've got the different components available to us. I'm going to click on my chart, and it adds in a chart now into the working area. You'll see here on the left-hand side, for this component, there's different options. But my first option here is to bind. So this is where you want to bind your data. So we click on binding, and now I can add in the field. So if I click on add values, you'll see over here, it is now bringing through for me the fields for my query. So I want to show over here, I want to show my dollar value, and I want to go by date. So I'm going to select my invoice date, and you will see over here my invoice date. Once I've done the binding, I've got a whole different lot of formatting options and different options. So it's automatically grouping by date by the year, but I like to see it by the month and the year. I choose month, year, and now I've got it by months. When I come back to my value field over here, I've got the option to sum it, average it to your normal aggregation functions. I've got to click on options. I can give it a better description or a name, so I'll just call it sales. I can also come down here, for example, to the format, and I can change the formatting from auto from a number, general number currency. So I'm going to choose currency. Auto, I'm going to make it ones, and put my separator on. And over here, you can choose your currency of choice. Now, if I use client system settings, it's basically taking what my system settings are. I come back through, I close it off, and now over here, I've pretty much got a graph of my sales by month. Now I want to add in a table quickly, and I want to show that in the table, I want to show basically sales by customer. So I click on my grid, and again, I click on the binding, I click on my add column, and I add in the fields I want. So I'm going to add in my account name, and I'm going to add in the value. All right. Now you can see over here it's got my values are in thousands, and my headers are all the default field values. So again, if I come to my account name, I come to options, I can give it a better description. So I'm going to go customer name. I can come through here to my values, and I can say put them in sales. I can come through to format, make it a currency field, change to ones, put in my separator, and I like to just use my settings. Okay, but another quite a cool thing that when you play around with this, you can see I've got sales represented as a dollar value. I can add in my sales figure again, and now when I click on it, I can go to options, and I can say, oh, I prefer to represent it as a bar. So now you can see it's showing me as a bar instead of as dollar values. The other option I can also have over here, if I go back to my binding, I can add it back in. And you'll see at the top of the screen here, that's summing, but then I can also do different type of measures. So I'm going to choose this as a spark line. And over here, it's asking me for spark line data. So I want to see it by date. Oops. There. And I want to see it by month, year. So what that's has done for me now is still my sales value, but it's sort of showing me a trend by date, by month. Again, if I go back on the fields, I can go to the options and give them better descriptions. Over here, I can put in sales trends. Okay. Now you can see I've added in this grid. Now, with all the different components, if I click back over here on my bar chart, I can come through here and I've got different options. So if I click on the spanner over here, I can actually give the chart a title. So I can go to sales by month. Okay. If I click off here, you'll see over here now I've got a description of my chart. If I come to my grid, I can do the same thing. Click on the spanner, say customer sales. Okay, so this is a real quick demonstration on how to add components. But then the other thing we can do is we can make the dashboard interactive. So right now, if I click on a customer, for example, he's not doing anything. If I come through and click on a specific month, it's not doing any type of automatic filtering for us. You'll see on each component, if I click on this interactivity option, and this is where I can set how my master filtering works. So if I put on here multiple master filter and invoke that, now, for example, if I click to that month of January, it's only going to show me January, the customers who bought in January. I can come back here, remove my filter, and it's back to everything. I can click on my grid over here for my customers, again, go to my interactivity, click on multiple filter, apply that. Now, if I click on any customer, it will show me which month they purchased in. So that's how we can add in the interactivity. Now, we can click on the save button. So I'll just quickly remove that. So we click on here. When we hit save, this is now saved this dashboard that we've been working on. Over here, if I click on here, I can go to title and I can give the dashboard a better title. So I'll just go sales dashboard. Okay. And if I go back, you'll see over here, it's changed the title for me. Also, if I come back over here, the data source. So if you've got multiple data sources added to this dashboard, okay, you can go to data sources and you'll see all of them listed here. And then you'll see all the fields available to you for each of those data sources. You can also add in calculated fields. So if you wish to do, for example, a value divided by quantity, or just do a concatenation of fields, you could add a lot of different things with your calculated fields, and that's where you would do it. So I close that down. I've now saved it. So if I come back to my community custom dashboards, I should have in here my webinar sales dashboard. So if I run this now from the front end, it's going to ask me for my date range. Get run dashboard. And it's the dashboard that we just created. I can come back to my custom dashboards. If you ever want to come through and edit any of that or add more to it, when you find your dashboard, you come through here on the yellow edit dashboard option. You can click. What I will do is I'll fix up my parameter that I made a mistake with over here. That's one way to fix that. And then if I come through and hit edit, I can edit my dashboard again, make whatever changes. So I might want to see, I might want to put in a pivot table because this is the amount of data. I might want to pivot this based on product. So I'll put in here quantity as well as the value, and then I'll put in description. Okay, close that off, and I've just added in a pivot table to show me that. Where you see little crosshairs like this, it enables you to move and reposition anything. So you can just drag and drop. Exactly where I wanted it. Drag and drop, and then you can resize them vertically as well as horizontally to see how you wish for it to fit. Okay, come up over here and you click save, and that is just save the changes we've just made. Okay, I might just see if there are any questions.
No, there's none that have come through, Dean, but like most of our partners, once they have a picture of where they can go down, download it if they haven't already, work with it, and of course, then you can use our support desk for any questions. Or, Dean, in the background, before we bring up the slideshow, if you can just head to the Plus.Live website and let's just look at the support area. I think that's pretty much everything you wanted to cover there, Dean.
Yeah. So I just basically wanted to go through, yes, how to add a connection, and then how you go about adding that dashboard from scratch. So giving it a name, adding in some parameters, creating your query over through in Microsoft Studio Manager, copy and paste that through into Snapshot, and then you are able to go and start creating a dashboard.
Excellent. Dean, just click on the help videos, Snapshot.Live videos. There's a range of videos you, as customers and partners, can have a look at there. And then if you go to the actual partner menu under resources, I'll just quickly put you under pressure there, Dean. And you can log in there with your partner password, and there's some more detailed videos around that as well. And the pressure I was going to put you under, Dean, was to see if you knew the password. I knew you wouldn't. Don't worry about that. We'll make sure all of our partners have that password. So if you can swing back to the slideshow, that'll be great. I think we finish off here perfectly on time. So we've added the data sources. We've created a dashboard from scratch, giving you an idea of the big picture. And just give us the next slide there as well, please, Dean. So what I suggest you do as partners and as customers, if you are here for the first time, is, obviously set up your own company portal. There's a whole step-by-step process under our support section. If you've got any questions, our support at Plus.Live will help you. And then also look out for our other webinars under, support and training on the Plus.Live website. So without further ado, we've just made the perfect timing. Dean, have you got any other final questions, input, etc.? I see there's no questions come through. That's great. And I'll close off the webinar, and thank you all for attending. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Cheerio.